Welcome back, Know-It-Alls. This is Josh, and I'd like to say that I'm glad you're here. We greatly appreciate your feedback, so please feel free to message in with your questions and concerns to the email address answersforeverything@gmail.com. We hope you enjoy the show as much as we enjoy recording it, and remember, I smoke weed so that you don't have to. Enjoy the show.
That's what she said.
Usually me.
Yeah.
For the person to go first.
I definitely don't want to go last, let me tell you. I've been at those
Who-
kind of parties.
What do we have? I've asked questions of the two of you previously.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
it's episode 1 out of 3. And Josh won second place out of episodes 2 out of 3. And it looks like Charlie Ray is coming up to bat for episode 3 out of 3.
Wow. Wow.
Are you ready?
It's,
You ready to learn?
well, hopefully I'll learn something. So Josh, we want to go with you first on this one?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Welcome back to part 3 of learning about each other. I don't know what the title of the episode is.
It was something like that.
Maybe.
Well, that's not probably no homo enough, but it'll work.
Yeah. I mean, it should never be no
Learning
homo enough,
learning about each other.
or
Yes.
always no homo enough. I don't
It
know.
sounds like that sounds like a hi and welcome back to not public radio, and we're going to talk about learning about others today. Today we have Mr. Clay, we have Josh, and we have Charlie Ray.
President.
No homo.
That's right, but no homo. So
Not
we're going
yet.
to start off with
Depends.
Josh.
It depends on the
Well,
questions.
it depends on the questions.
Well, it depends on the answers.
All
That's
right.
true.
All right. Question number 1 for Josh is, if you still had to work for a living, but you could do a dream job, what would it be? And it would have to be something you could do at least 30 hours a week.
That's a great question. And I guess something like we've already talked about before, something like working in a video store or something, even though they don't exist anymore. Something where people could come in and talk to you and it's not really work. That would just be fantastic.
And you don't have to worry about your overhead or your cost or anything, right? Like at this point,
No.
it's just a pastime. Like he's rich beyond belief, and he just needs something to do for 30 hours a week.
Basically, it's kind of like like a stipulation. You have the money, everything's taken care of, but you have to do something. What would you do to that would make you, happy, feel like you're doing something, and keep you busy for 30 hours a week? So,
I think that'd be pretty
uh,
great. Either run a video store or like maybe run a small movie theater and choose whatever you want for movies.
Ooh.
so basically, minus the making movies part, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, he's got the dream job.
Yes, he
He
does.
owns a movie theater now, so he can, if all else fails in his life, he can always just go back and run the popcorn stand, I guess.
Have you
So
ever
that sound
listened?
that's
Have you listened to him talk about it?
I have not.
No.
No.
He says owning a theater, it has its ups and downs, mainly ups because it's something he's always wanted to do. But he said it's weird because, opening night for Avatar 3, or is it Avatar 2? I don't know what came out. Avatar 2 came out, right?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said Friday night, 12 tickets. 12 fucking tickets. Avatar 2 opening night. And that's the movie that movie theater owners are thinking this is going to bring in money. Like this is going to be income. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is going to be a great fucking weekend. And
Right.
he said thank God that he has his other revenue streams where he does speaking engagements and he has his own movies to play, because he says we sell those out quite easily when he's, let's say, Mallrats, for example. We're going to play Mallrats on the screen, and then we're going to do a Q&A with 3 of the people from Mallrats. So instead of selling you an $8 ticket for an old movie, you sell a $60 ticket because you're also going to get a Q&A with people from the movie.
Right.
He's like, we sell those out all the time. But regular movie, yeah, you don't really sell out the new movies too much. People are sticking to their basements and their projectors and their lounge chairs, their recliners, their popcorn machines. They're staying home for the convenience of it, but you can't stay home for the convenience of something like Q&A with Mallrats guest stars.
Right.
True.
You can't zoom that. I mean, you could, but what's the fucking point?
That would be stupid.
Right? Exactly.
I,
What's the fucking point?
I haven't been to a movie theater in a long time, and I will say it was fun to get out to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hell yeah.
Uh, and it was just nice to be out to have that movie experience. And I don't know if I ever told you this. I had this short time period when my first ex was working for a studio here in Kansas City. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, it's not just in Kansas City, but it was a chain around the United States. And even though she worked in accounting, but she got this ability to give certain amount of people passes that basically, as long as you showed up within an hour of a movie, as long as it wasn't sold out, you could get a pair of tickets. So I had this pass for about 2 years, and I didn't use it nearly enough. I could have used it like every day of the week. It
Yeah.
didn't matter. I mean, that was awesome to have that ability. And I'm sure I'd get tired of it after a while. I just don't go to movie theaters very much anymore. But I think if you had something like that where you could do it and you could do it and just enjoy it for fun and not have to worry about, I mean, you want it to, at least maybe break even or, not lose a lot. But I mean, well, you don't want it to lose because I mean, that would still come out of your revenue. But I mean, you'd have enough money, it wouldn't matter. But, I mean, you wouldn't want to run it to where it wasn't running, where it was at least,
No, as
you
long
didn't
as it paid for itself, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Like
exactly.
$0 profit, but everything's
Yeah,
covered.
that's all I would
Mm,
care about.
Yeah,
And I
because
would
you're already
play some
making
cool
money.
shit.
right.
And I'd
Yeah.
let you
Okay.
could smoke weed in the theater, maybe. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
there you
Can you
go.
legally do it?
I'm sure you could figure something out if everyone knew that that was happening and like you had to sign a waiver maybe beforehand and you had a really good ventilation system.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a fire hazard,
Yeah.
that's what I would worry about. I don't know how you'd go around it. I'm surprised there's not like some kind of like, you know, token watch up and smoke, or
Yeah,
whatever
fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
this weekend. Uh,
It's what I
so that'd
do
be
anyway, but I don't get to blaze in the theater.
It's got to be a public thing, right? Because you can smoke in your own house and leave the house, but you can't really smoke walking down the street.
Well, no, but I do.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like even in Amsterdam, you,
Allegedly he does. Yes.
you
No,
can't
I
just
do.
Hypothetically.
you can't just spark up a joint wherever you are. It's legal in places, but it's not legal when you're just walking down the street.
So you can't just
Unless
walk
you're
up to
Josh.
Can't just walk up to old JT and blow it in his face and go, "Thanks, bud."
Mm,
Okay. That's the first question. Question number two. Being that you live up in the Great White North, have you ever been out in the woods or on any kind of rural type situation that you saw or experienced anything that either made you want to get the hell out of there really quick or was just weird and you investigated?
Well, one time I was in Harrison Hot Springs and I was on a walk to smoke some weed. So I would take my dog with me and then go and like explore some of the trails and stuff around Harrison. And one time a bear came trudging down the embankment and my dog started sort of freaking out and I was really scared and I got us out of there. So
scary.
Okay.
that was one scary moment.
How big was the bear?
I didn't really stick around to look at it that much, but I would say it was a medium-sized bear, maybe 300 pounds or so.
Well, next time I expect you to get measurements, so make sure you keep your
Stick
tape
around a little
measure on
longer.
you. That's right. Yeah.
I
Although,
didn't want my
bear,
dog to get hurt.
I don't blame you. I would have also hastily, but not in a like, I'm a scared, well, I don't want to draw too much attention, basically what I'm saying, but I'd get the hell out of there. I did notice on a recent video I watched that showed like land speeds of animals that bears can run like, I think it's like 27 or 30 miles an hour. So, there's not really much chance you're going to outrun the bear. So make sure you trip your companion or, you know, don't find a bear, I guess.
They're everywhere here, man. Mission, there's one
Oh,
spotted every day here in where I live.
I'll bet. I know when I was up there and I went up to Whistler while we were riding up the ski lift, and it was like summertime, so it wasn't like in operation, but they were still running people up there into the lodge and stuff. We saw several bears down below us. So
They're everywhere.
yeah. All right. Question number 3. Hmm. If there was one thing of a decision you could make in your life that you would change, do you know what it would be?
Ooh.
Because I know, I mean, that's a hard question because it could change radically everything in your life. But if you could change, okay, maybe if there's something you could change that would make a difference, but wouldn't completely alter your life, what would it be? That would
Yeah,
be
as long as it didn't
easier.
affect me having my kids, that's the problem. I think of like the fork in the road of my life, and there was definitely a point in time where I could have gone one way and had a completely different life, or had the life I had. Because when I was 19, I went across Canada on my own. I kind of went up to the Yukon and then I went across to Ontario on a road trip. And I was living in Ontario and I almost bought a nice little house and it had like a creek running through it and like a
Mm,
canoe launch area. And it was like a decent house. And it was $25,500 for the
Jesus.
property. Cheap as shit. And I
Yeah.
came so close to signing on the dotted line, but then I didn't. And I ended up going home and getting back with the girl that I was with. And then we had a bunch of kids. So if I had have chosen that house, it would have been completely different. I don't regret it so much because it worked out well, but I often wonder what would have happened if I had taken that other life. Interesting.
it is an interesting thought. And of course, in my beliefs, I believe that there's somewhere out there in the wild existing universe, there is a you that made that choice.
Yeah, interesting, eh?
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Question number 3. Hmm.
Question number four.
Question number 4. Maybe I've been spoken today. I don't know. Question number 4. Is there anything that you collect, or if money was no object, that you would like to collect?
People.
Skins.
Well, you don't need money to collect that. You just need a
Human
t
skins.
t
Foreskins.
sociopathic tendencies.
Hillbilly turntables. Just have a room full of those barrels.
So there's a toy line and it's just like one line. I think there's 49 in the whole set. And they're made by Kenner and it's the Marvel Legends series. They're cheap as shit. You get them for $5 a piece from Dollarama. And I've been collecting the collection. I think I have 20 out of 49 so far. And I'm going to collect that set and that's it.
That's
That's it.
I'm going to give
that's
up
what you
after that.
say. Like I assure you, looking around in my background here, you say that you only want, 20, 49,
It's 49, man. That's it. And then it'll cover that whole wall.
and then
4,900.
650 years
Whatever.
later, you're like, wow, I probably could have stopped at 4. And now I have 650.
No,
Yeah.
49. I'll stop then. I can easily stop. I only collect them sort of passingly. Like if I see one that I don't have, I'll be like, oh, sweet. I got another one.
So you don't toy hunt for them.
No, no.
Well, you're missing out on two things. One, the enjoyment of toy hunting. Two, the funds in your bank account stay and your time isn't wasted. So those are
That's
two
true.
different aspects of missing out on those things.
What was the second part of the question?
Oh, if there was something that you could collect and money was no object, what would it be?
Gold.
All right.
Stockpile gold and silver. I should have started doing that a long fucking time ago.
Yes. Yes, we all should have. Or I could just put $20 in Bitcoin. I'd have like, I don't know, $300 million, you know?
You can buy gold by the ounce at Costco.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
there you go.
Sweet little
Yeah.
fucking gold bars.
They sell out pretty quick though, I've heard too.
They do. You have to show up
They
there
are
the
selling
day.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to show
Oh,
up
well, that
the
makes
day they're
sense.
released. Yeah, it doesn't go down in price.
But
It's a
something
great
else will
investment.
if you have a big stock of gold. Um, okay. Last question. If you don't want to answer this question, I will ask you a different one. Okay.
Okay.
This one would be if you could either A, try a kink or something that you've always wanted to try, or B, well, what would it be? And B, if it could be anybody you wanted, who would it be with?
Charlie Ray.
Hmm. I don't know
But
about kinks. I'm
Sounding with Charlie Ray.
I'm pretty
that's gonna be the new series, Sounding with Josh.
pretty vanilla when it comes to lovemaking, but it would be nice to have someone that you were comfortable with experimenting some things that you didn't haven't tried before. I'm not sure what that would entail, but if I had someone to choose, can it be like a celebrity?
No, it can be anybody, yeah. Living or
Emma
dead.
Roberts. Let's go.
Emma
Emma
Roberts,
Roberts,
okay.
really nice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful,
She's so hot.
and she just seems like sweet,
Yes,
like just a pleasure to be around.
totally. I like her a lot, and I like her acting.
Did you watch that movie with the space one on Prime?
I did. It was
It
if
was
you can
if you could
step
put up,
away from the space aspect of the movie because that
yeah,
they did that terribly, but
yeah,
it was cute.
yeah. I watched it. I'm glad I watched it, and I'll never watch it again.
No, me neither.
But I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, it was
What
cute.
movie? Which movie was this?
Space Cadet
Oh, I don't
on
know it.
Amazon
Oh,
Prime.
It's brand new.
oh,
It came
well,
out like
that's
a month
why.
ago.
Oh, I think
Oh,
I've seen. I think I saw a trailer or something for it. Yeah, but I don't have Amazon Prime, so I am severely missing out. So those are my questions.
awesome.
Josh, right? We
Thank
did
you.
five questions. Yes. So I don't know if we really opened up the mind and delved deeply in there, but I thought those were decent questions.
Yeah,
Well, so so Mr. Clay, are you ready for your questions?
10-4.
Yours are going to be all dirty and nasty.
Hillbilly turntables for everyone.
That's right. Uh, no, they're not going to be all dirty and nasty. Okay, first question. If you could either A, be able to have a television series or some kind of series type thing that ended abruptly and didn't get a complete end, continue on for a few more seasons and have a proper ending, what would it be? Or B, if there's anything you think would be a great, let's just say multi-season episodic TV series of something you'd want to see, what would it be? One of those, either one of those two, or both.
I've watched a lot of TV shows in my life, like more than I can count. And lots of them don't have like a final season. It doesn't get written like that. It's like I think I was talking to maybe it was both you guys, how I think places like Apple and Amazon and Netflix, instead of like keep putting out seasons and it just gets worse and worse and worse, or they only put out two seasons and there's no conclusion, I think every show should be written for a 24 episode series, 8 episodes a year. So you get 3 seasons of every episode of every TV show, no matter what. It's coming, beginning, middle, and end. It's all fucking resolved.
Hmm.
I think it'd be better than getting two, like, what is it? Outer Range? Josh, did you watch season two?
I watched half of it. It was
And
getting boring, so I stopped watching it.
and then there's no season three, so there's no
Nope.
conclusion. Or Night
It
Sky.
it
You
just
watch,
dies. Yeah, and I really liked The Night Sky.
yeah, you watch Night Sky and you're like, wow, I can't wait for season two. Oh, guess what? Canceled. You're like, all
It
right,
got canceled.
cool. I guess I'll just never know.
Like how like, it's just not enough interest. I felt like there was tons of people watching these shows.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, just because you like it and just because I like it doesn't mean a lot of people are watching it.
Disappointing.
It is. That's why I think when they sign these things, 24 episodes isn't that big of a commitment when it comes to money and stuff for these big companies.
Yeah.
And if you can string people along for 3 years for paying for your monthly fees for those things to get somebody attached for 3 years to see the conclusion, that would probably be worth the investment, would it not?
Look at Cobra Kai, biggest show in the world. There's not a single show that's outstreamed it, and yeah, it started on YouTube,
Right? Yeah, YouTube Special, or YouTube Prime, or YouTube
YouTube Red,
Premium. Yeah,
yeah,
something.
whatever it is.
I too enjoy Cobra Kai.
I
Although
love it.
when it first started, I was really enjoying more of the focus on Johnny,
Me
and then I
too.
hated how yeah, and I wanted to have them develop that and have it be more him and not bringing in Ralph Macchio. I understand why they did it and everything, but
Yeah.
that I was really enjoying that and the focus on him and a redemption arc and everything before they just started bringing back and rehashing stuff, you know.
And
But
and they're gonna make a movie now
oh, really?
with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan apparently, and
Yeah.
somehow it's gonna tie into. I don't know.
Huh?
But I mean, I love Cobra Kai as well. I'm only 2 episodes into the new season,
It's a
and
short one. It's a half season.
I'm trying to savor it. I don't want to watch it all and then have to wait 6 months for the next half. It's
I'm
like,
just gonna watch it again a few times.
but
Well,
so
I've only been up to season 3, so I got 4 and 5 yet to watch. So
so
Oh,
I
lucky duck.
I'm
yeah.
gonna go with B, where I would pick something I would like to see, because I don't think there's anything out there that, as much as I liked Night Sky, I don't, I'm not salivating for season two. There's nothing I can think of in my past that I've watched and thought like, huh, I really would like a conclusion. I mean, there's an X-Men cartoon called X-Men Evolution where they're teenagers. Wolverine and Storm are in their 30s and they're training the teenagers. So Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, they're all X-23, they're all young. Rogue, they're
I
all in
didn't
high
like
school.
that one.
See, I love that one and it didn't get a conclusion. I was like, fuck, that sucks.
Oh,
And but I mean, it's a cartoon. I don't think many kids
Hmm.
who watch it. I was a grown up when I watched it. So I was 20 years old watching it. But I think kids watching are just like, yeah, cool, there's colors and there's X-Men. They're not really following the storyline. But I would have to go with something that I want to see in the Marvel universe. Out of all the shows they made, all the stuff that I enjoy, the stuff I don't always enjoy, like, hear me out. 10 episodes, Captain America going from planet to timeline to return all the Infinity Stones,
definitely. That'd be
right?
sick.
How great would that be to tie into everything? And then you see him with Peggy and then staying, and you see him watching TV of his younger self doing the Battle of New York and doing the Civil War and stuff, knowing he can't, absolutely can't show himself to come out and help.
Call it a
Otherwise,
captain's journey.
right? Oh man, that's awesome.
Fucking so
Yeah.
cool.
And he couldn't come out because he would have to leave his other self to follow that path in order to get to the point where he ends up with Peggy. Because if he
Yeah.
changes anything,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
it
That'd be
wouldn't
cool.
happen. It wouldn't happen the way it happened. So he just has to enjoy his life with Peggy. But yeah, I would love to see that. And I'm very intrigued as to what would happen on Vormir, like where Black Widow dies. Like how,
And when he meets up with Red Skull,
right? You meet up with Red
oh,
Skull, you
his
realize,
arch enemy.
yeah, you realize, well, he can't leave there. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, he can't do anything.
How awesome would it be if you could see that somehow Red Skull was able to travel, like piggyback with him through time and they get lost somewhere.
A buddy comedy with them.
No, 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 like as he's
That would be funny.
as he's leaving, as Captain America's leaving Vormir, somehow Red Skull was able to like get sucked into that time travel vortex through the, what is it,
Behind him.
the quantum realm, and
Yeah.
then he doesn't have the time space like GPS, so
Yeah.
he just gets kicked out somewhere.
And goes on his own journey for another spin-off.
Or it would be funny if he got kicked out and then he wakes up and he's on Vormir again. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Damn it.
Where he really can't leave. He thought he had a way out, but he didn't.
It's better than being stuck in some existential like apartment and it's like the odd couple, but it's like the Red Skull and Cap, or something like that. Damn it, Red Skull, I told you quit leaving your underwear on the porch.
Or Red Skull ends up with Daryl, Thor's roommate.
Uh,
So Thor's gone and it's Red Skull and Daryl just treats him like fucking garbage.
You forgot to take the garbage out again, you jerk. How
Yeah.
about White Vision? What happened to him?
I think he's getting his own show.
Oh, I hope so. The
Yeah.
Vision Quest?
I kind of want to see what happens after that,
White Vision.
which
I
sounds
think Vision.
racist.
I'm thinking of Vision Quest and Vision on a chair and like pulling a lever and the water all coming down on him. Wasn't that Vision Quest, the movie? Wasn't it called Vision Quest? What was it called? The one with Jessica Biel. Not Jessica Biel, what's her face? Flashdance. That's it. Flashdance. Vision Quest. Vision's dance off years. Okay. Uh
Number
We
two.
got derailed. Question
Sorry.
number two.
Yes, number two. This will be a question I also asked Josh. Since you are also up in the great wherever way up
Mhm.
there, but I love this kind of plains where you're at, I guess. So,
True.
but you didn't always live on the plains, so it's that it'll still apply. Have you ever had any kind of wild experience or unexplained something felt odd or just unusual that that you remember when you were in the woods or anything up there?
Supernatural.
Supernatural
I've
or
already talked
I'm
about
thinking
the
I'm thinking more about cryptids and like stuff like that. So
I've already talked about the troll that I saw through the garage floor, like in the. You guys remember that? No?
I think I remember something about
I was
this.
probably about 10 with my cousin and his cousin, and we were in the backyard playing, which they had an orchard, and we are playing around this old dilapidated truck. The weeds were overgrowing through, and we were playing hide and go seek tag. And there was a wooden storage unit, so like a wooden garage, and it's this old wooden with a padlock on it. It had dirt floors. It didn't even have a floor built onto it. It was just like a structure built with four posts dug into the dirt and then boards around it. And that's where all their farm equipment was, whatever they kept inside there. And we were running through this truck, and my cousin was it. And I jumped through the truck, slid across the seat. Like I closed the driver door as I got in, opened the passenger door, and then my cousin's cousin jumped in the driver's side door, closed the door, slid across the seat, opened the passenger door, got out, closed the door. And then my cousin, instead of running around the truck to tag us, he also opened the driver's side door, slid across the seat, and then or closed the door, slid across his seat, opened the passenger side door, and it wouldn't open. So he's like jiggling with it, and he starts screaming and crying that he's trapped in there. But we thought he was just like trying to get us close to him so he could tag us. But then you saw the
uh,
terror in his eyes and tears streaming down his face. We're like, okay, he's like really scared. And at this time, my cousin's cousin called us for dinner. Hey guys, come in for dinner. And it was, I don't know, 50 feet away from the house. So we just turned around, and then, man, my cousin's freaking out and crying. And, my aunt came, well, his aunt came over and opened the door and let him out. And like, we didn't know what was wrong, but there was something fucked up with the truck. He was terrified of something. And then we go inside the house, we have dinner, and we want to go back outside and play. And as we're walking outside, we're just walking towards the truck, which is like right in the backyard, right on the cusp of where the orchard starts and where that storage unit is. And there was this 3 foot tall, gnarly face troll on the roof pointing a chainsaw, not turned on, just holding a chainsaw and like growling at us, like, and we're just looking at it. And like, you're 10 years old and you think, okay, that's kind of fucked up. But the older brother of the guy's house, like where we are, he has a lot of remote control boats and cars and trucks and stuff that he was always playing with. So I thought, like, is this like a remote sort of, not a doll, but like a robot? Is this
An automaton.
something, right? We're looking at it, and then, we're fucking terrified of it. And we run inside, and we tell Auntie Nancy, so my cousin's cousin, her name is Nancy, that this thing's out there, and we're asking like, where's Troy? Where's the brother? Like, does he have a toy out there? And he comes up from downstairs holding a pool cue. He's like, I'm playing pool. I'm not outside. So he was playing pool downstairs, and then Auntie Nancy came outside with us, and she's like, "What are you guys freaking out over?" And we're like, "Oh, there was this beast, this thing on top of the truck, and it was like holding a chainsaw." She goes, "Why did you guys have the chainsaw? Who let you in the garage?" And we're like, "What?" She goes, "There's a chainsaw on the roof of the truck. Like, you guys aren't allowed to play in the garage. It's locked up. How did you get in?" And she walks over to it, and the padlock is locked. She's like, "How did you get in there?" So she's blaming us for removing the tools, the dangerous tools, from the shed. And we're like, we weren't in there. Like, we were playing around this truck all day, and the chainsaw wasn't up there. Like, number one, we can't get into the shed. Number two,
right.
we were around the truck, we would have seen the chainsaw. We fucking played on it all day long. And then my mom came to pick me up or whatever, or she drove us, or Auntie Nancy drove us home. I don't know how it happened, but we went our separate ways. And then I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. I was like, okay, this is like, that was so fun. That was so messed up. That was so messed up. Fast forward 6 years. I'm probably 16, 15, 16 years old. And we were hanging out in the graveyard, which is what we did. Like we just would go to the graveyard, we would put a blanket on the ground on top of the graves and see how long we could stay there before getting too fucking scared and running back in the car. There were some nights we couldn't get out of the vehicle because it was too scary, and there were some nights we could just lay there and hang out and talk all night. And we were on the blanket, and my friend Paul, my new friend Paul at the time, he said, make sure you guys stay on the blanket so the thing doesn't get you. I forget what he called it. It was some name. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's a thing because that lives on the land reservation out here, which we were close to. And when I was little, my grandma would take us for picnics on the reservation because we're Aboriginal and that's where we lived. And she would make us stay on the blankets because the thing couldn't reach out through the dirt and pull us under and eat us. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, there was these troll-like things that lived under the dirt when we were farming when we were little. And my grandparents were younger. They would go to build a fence and they would like dig post holes in the ground. And sometimes they would come up underneath with like chicken carcass or like their a pig bones or goat bones or a cow. They would find all these bones buried underground. And the whatever it's written in their texts or their stories that there's this thing that lives underneath the dirt that will pull right through the dirt and eat you. That's what it does. And I was like, are you sure your grandma just didn't want you to sit down on the fucking blanket and not move for a picnic? So she just told the story. He's like, no, man, that was the story. They would find all these bones underneath, and the only way to get the bones underneath is to physically bury them or for that beast to be able to pull it through the fucking dirt. And I was like, okay. And then it just like jarred that memory of that troll thing. And that orchard is literally 20 feet away from the land reservation in the Okanagan. So I was like, if that thing is legit, it could have gone under the ground to get there. And I know that that shed doesn't have a basement. Like that shed is dirt. So it could have gone in, got the chainsaw, come out under the dirt and come up on the other side. I'm getting goosebumps right now, like for telling this story because it fucking terrifies me 30 years later.
Now, is is it a pussy troll or a mouth troll?
Was it Pillow Pants?
It was Pillow Pants. But
Fucking Pillow
yeah,
Uh,
Pants is pissed.
but yeah, so that's like the only thing that I've seen. When you're a kid, you try and justify it. As you get older, you think that can't be real. And then 6 years later, somebody tells you a story and you're like, holy fuck. And you listen to him tell the story, and then you're like, I have a story for you. So the thing that my new friend told me who never heard my previous story coincided with my experience 6 years earlier. And the location of this truck and this shed is very close to the land reservation that he grew up knowing had a beast underneath it that would pull things underneath and eat it. So
hmm.
it sounds super fucked up, but that's
You know
like
what you saw? You saw a little troll with a chainsaw.
and to this day, when I see my cousin or my cousin's cousin, we reflect on that. And it's 30 years
Hey,
later, and
remember the troll?
right?
Yeah,
Remember the
man.
troll? Remember that? We just remember getting in
Oh,
trouble for the chainsaw. We're like, well, we weren't in there. And then it never made
Did you?
sense to me to years later that that thing could have gone through the dirt to grab it and then out of the dirt and back up top with a chainsaw.
So what was the chainsaw missing? Was it actually missing? Did they
I
ever
don't,
find it?
well, it was on the roof of the truck. That's why the
Right.
mom was just like, how
So it
did
was on
that
the roof. It was on the roof of the truck outside
outside
after
of the
you came
shed?
back in. Yeah.
We were
But it
outside.
wasn't earlier. It wasn't
Correct.
earlier.
We were playing on the
Okay.
truck all day and it wasn't there. And then when we saw the beast holding it, we ran back inside terrified. Auntie Nancy came out, got mad at us because she said we were playing with a chainsaw and asked how we got in and out of the locked shed. And then you went over to
Okay.
the shed, it was locked, and she grabbed the chainsaw, she unlocked the lock and put the chainsaw back in on the hook it was supposed to be on, and then locked up
Wow.
again. And yeah, 6 years
Okay.
later, it made sense to me. More of it made sense. It still doesn't make sense to me, but it made more sense hearing that story from my friend.
Wow. That's pretty cool. In a scary ass way to a
Uh,
10-year-old.
But as an adult now, I would like to see that shit because that way my adult brain can process it a lot better than a 10-year-old can.
What if he was standing up there and instead of a chainsaw, he just had this huge master dong and just looked at you in his hand and said, "You're next."
Oh, I would turn around. I would start running away. I would pretend to trip And as I'm falling, I would pull my pants all the way down and present myself. That's it.
Okay.
What would you do?
I would turn around and run, but I would not fall down, and I
Oh,
would get the hell out of there.
you and I are very
So,
different people. Wait, does he?
but it,
He doesn't have
but
the
if we were
chainsaw? It's just the dong, right?
it's just a huge dog
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I can
with a
handle
couple of
the heat.
balls that are with a couple of balls that are so big you can just roll on them, just like rolling on
Uh,
them. Just like,
uh, uh,
okay.
yeah, that's a
All
story to
right.
tell. I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's write that book. Okay. So next question. This will be kind of a riff off of that question.
Okay.
If you could have any mythical creature that you're aware of come to life and be in your life in whatever capacity, depending on what creature it is that you wanted, what would it be and why?
Mythical goes dragon, angel,
Mermaid.
Anything.
gargoyle,
Yeah.
mermaid.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Anything. Any book, any story, any whatever. I mean, it's God, it gives you a lot of options.
Yeah, man. You Pete's dragon. I mean, I want something. I don't want Howie Mandel from Little Monsters because that would be super annoying and he would just get me in trouble. Did you guys ever watch Little Monsters with Fred
Sure did.
Savage?
Fred Savage under the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. So Maurice, I believe is his name.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I never saw it.
I don't know where that came
Oh,
from,
it's
but
such a
hey,
good movie.
yeah. So I want someone
Is,
who,
is that like where I couldn't help it? It just popped into my mind. What is it, Ray? What did you think of? Maurice from Little Monsters.
so I can't choose Venom, can I?
You could.
Because can I choose Venom from the Tom Hardy movies? Because that
Sure.
Venom is a lot of fucking fun and super protective of the body that it's inhibiting.
That's
But
true.
I don't really want to eat people though. I don't want to really be a menace, but I wouldn't mind a protector.
An
I
Okay.
Avatar.
I would probably become lethal protector. I would be a vigilante, I think, because yeah, that'd be awesome to have like the power of Venom
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
or
Hey,
Genie
or you
from
could be.
Aladdin. You have
Uh,
magic.
See, that's what I was thinking. Because
Oh.
then, yeah.
Oh
Because then
yeah.
you could
And
have other
wishes.
things.
No, you don't
Yes,
get wishes though, because
exactly.
he's not a genie. He got his wristbands off, right? So he is not beholden to anyone. But being Aladdin and Jasmine and Iago's friend and Carpet's friend, Abu's friend, yeah, that was the group. He could just do magical shit all the time, but you didn't have to wish for it. He would just be awesome. I'm gonna go with Robin Williams, Genie from Aladdin.
Thank God you didn't choose the Will Smith.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that shouldn't exist.
Sinbad, the Sinbad version.
Yeah.
That didn't exist.
But
So
it
yeah,
does now.
yeah, I'm going for Robin Williams, Genie from Aladdin as my
Yeah.
mythical creature.
See, then
Oh yeah.
he can make that TV series that he wants appear because he has the magical creature.
As long as I mean, you can't wish for. I have to make him want to do it.
Yeah, he has to want it too. Which he would.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's say that's what, three questions?
sure.
Okay.
Schnitz.
I think that was the fourth question.
Was that the fourth question?
I think
Maybe third or
so.
fourth question. This will be another question I asked Josh as well. I'll use a couple of same questions. Uh, Again, if money was taken care of, you didn't really need to worry about it, but you had to do something 30 hours a week that was somewhat some kind of job or something. I think I know what you're going to say, but what would you do?
That's tough. I'd like to be a porn star. That'd be fun. But I'd also like to be a location scout for movies. I would love to travel around in a fucking helicopter, looking at things from a bird's eye view to be like, hey, this would be good filmed here. That would be great to be filmed there. Like a location scout would be fucking awesome. It wouldn't be a job. It'd just be like, I'm traveling the world looking for shit, and then I get to watch a movie later on from the shit that I picked.
Okay.
Look, I mean, as much as I think being a writer would be pretty good, but there'd probably be a lot of assholes who rip your writing apart, and then the script that actually gets made into a movie is just a mere shadow of what you started. I mean, sure, you'd still get paid. I mean, would you look at the paycheck and be like, well, they paid me $450,000 for it. Do I really care if they butcher it? Because I can just write another one. Yeah, I think
Maybe you
Okay.
lo
should try.
location scout really can't be shit on.
I figured it would involve travel. That was my guess. So I just didn't know what aspect you were going to play up. What if you could be a location scout, but it was only for porno? So all you saw was just like
Dingy
sunken living
hotel rooms.
rooms and dingy hotel rooms and bedrooms
Shitty.
up in the Hollywood Hills.
I would keep shooting at Josh's movie theater. That's
You're
the
like, this
location.
laundry room is perfect.
Hey, look, it's Seymour Butts version volume 2700.
Yeah. Tranny Hunters 24. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Brazil. Yeah.
Back Thailand, back to
Yeah.
back to back.
I don't want my movie theater to smell funny, so you're not filming there.
It's so sad we don't have the movie theaters and the sticky floors anymore. It's all everybody's just doing everything at home.
Well, I
It's
still go to the movies all the fucking time, and they're empty.
yeah, but
Are they?
you haven't been
Pretty
to a
much.
porno theater like Charlie Ray was talking about.
No, they don't have
No, I,
those.
I I had this girl I knew that worked at a porno theater, so I'd go visit her and I'd just like hang out and talk to her at work, which is really weird when you think about it. But I've had a weird life, so uh, we'd
That is
sit
pretty
there and we'd
weird.
talk. We'd sit there and talk, and then we'd wait for a customer or whatever. The customer would come in, I'd go fiddle around while she helped them or whatever, and they'd leave, and then we'd just talk smack about them. Usually, after they
But
left, like,
just think
yeah,
about that. Like you guys watch Pornhub, I assume. That's probably a go-to because it's
what's
convenient.
what's what's Pornhub? I've never
No.
heard of Pornhub
Okay.
before.
Well, let
Or you
Jamie.
or you jizz, one of those two.
Yeah, Jamie will send you a link. You'll watch it and you'll never get off. Well, I mean, you'll never get off the site. You'll get off, you just won't get off of Pornhub. But can you imagine that that's where you watch your porn? Like you actually go to a theater to watch porn?
Those are the good old days.
Are they though?
I don't know.
Back
Maybe you'd
back
meet
when I was
someone.
back when I was in a wee lad, you would go into a small room and you would feed coins into
Yep.
the wall and you'd get 3 minutes of video.
So
Yes.
you've been to those.
Back in the day, yes.
So
Yes.
I've never done the one I thought it was like a sit down theater where you sit in chairs and
Oh,
you walk.
the, there were theaters like that too. There would be some theaters. They'd usually be like, like only like 20 or 30 seats. They weren't really big because usually those kind of theaters, I mean, hypothetically, not that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was ever there.
absolutely.
Uh, they would usually just be those small theaters, kind of like when you go to like a crappy mall back in the day. They'd have those little tiny theaters for movies. You
Yeah.
ever been? Yeah, not like now you have the big things, but yeah. So it'd be like a small movie theater, but usually it was just more places. It's like you had those kind of places, and then they'd have like video rentals, and they'd have a couple like like 10 or 20 seater type theaters, and then you'd have like booths and stuff like that. You ever seen that TV series, The Deuce with James Franco?
I have not.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have not.
No.
Okay. It's an interesting series. I think it was only ran for 4 years. James Franco's in it. He's playing himself and his twin brother. Maggie Gyllenhaal's in it. Bunch of different people were guest stars in it, off and on. What's his name? Paul Sorvino was in it. May he
Wow.
rest in peace. Yeah, I like that dude. He's a pretty good actor. Anyway, the movie was set around, I think it's around 42nd Street in New York City. So like I said, they called it the Deuce or whatever. And it was basically kind of down around like the Times Square and that area back. And the show starts off in like I think 1972. Back when that area was pretty grimy, I mean, before they cleaned it up. And so the series starts off in 72. First season 72. The second season I think is like 74, 76. And then like I don't know if it's 78 or 80 and then like 83. So it takes it through different seasons and people die along the way, lots of drug use, graphic sexual stuff. I mean, it was great because when they started off in the 70s, they had a lot of pimps and stuff before the pimps went out. So there's like a couple of guys in it that were pimps and working girls. And it's a really gritty show, really good if you haven't seen it, which I'm assuming you haven't because you said you never heard of it. So
Yeah.
it was pretty good. It was dark, but you get to the end of it and you just go, "Wow, what the fuck?" So, but well, I lost track of the question we were on. What was the question? What were we
We were
talking about?
talking about porn theaters and somehow
Oh,
this
porn theater. So porn theaters. So So porn and the porn industry in general was a big part of this because so Paul Sorvino played this mobster character and people paid him protection money. And one of the places in it was a video rental slash peep show in the back, like where you'd pay money and the window would open, there'd be a live person in there, right? And so he was taking money from them and James Franco's brothers, himself, but it was his brother supposedly in the movie, uh was running that farm. Like I said, just got, it involved drugs, it involved, skimming money. Then the guy started running it, like they started taking the women off the streets because they were cracking down on it. So they started opening massage parlors. And so they were competing with the pimps. And so the whole movie's got a lot of stuff about sex and the underworld and the black market of the 70s. So it's kind of interesting to watch, considering, of course, I never grew up with anything like that where I'm at.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, because yeah,
so
you were talking about your girlfriend working at a porn place, and then you're talking about feeding quarters, whatever, into a little screen, and then you talked about the live one through a screen, like through a window, and that's what I've seen when I was in either Amsterdam or Spain.
yeah,
I want
yeah,
to say Barcelona was a peep show, and it's just a circle, and there's like 20 doors, and you pay to
yeah,
go in, and then your window opens up, and there's a girl on a bed touching herself. And then when
right.
your time runs out, the window closes, and you're like, "Oh, fucking more euros, more
Yeah,
euros."
right,
And you
right.
you can't
That's what
see.
it was like in that series. It was like a circle like that,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I
And
just
it wasn't my girlfriend, it was just a girl I knew.
oh,
So,
sorry.
yeah.
Did you want to make her your girlfriend?
No, although my girlfriend was a burlesque dancer for a while, so that's pretty cool. I gave her her name. Uh it's like, they always have made up names
Yeah.
for like strippers. Uh Fonda Cox.
Oh.
It's pretty good, right? Fonda Cox?
Is she still burlesque dancing?
No, this is my now one of my ex-wives, so
Is she
uh
still fond of cocks?
yeah, it's just not mine.
Yeah.
So,
Does that make you sad?
okay.
Hey, he's
It would have
asking
at
you the
one time.
questions.
I know it would have at one time, but not anymore. No. So, okay. One more question, I think. If you could be in any classic or classic styled Japanese monster movie, which one would it be?
I've never watched a classic Japanese monster movie. So I don't
Okay.
know what would be a good decision or a bad decision. But
Mothra. You can
yeah,
fly on his back.
I'm thinking if I was in one of those, would I be a Japanese person or would I be
Yep.
one of the monsters?
No, you're Japanese.
So I'm gonna end up dying.
You could be either. You could be the monster if you wanted to.
I mean, the Godzilla one, I would be what, stepped on, burned on? Like,
Probably.
do they shoot lasers? Like
You
what?
get a radiation
Mechagodzilla did.
sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to be the monster, but the whole point of the monster being there is that the humans will attack it for attacking them. So I don't know if I want that. I also don't want to be squished by Bigfoot or lit on fire.
It's a
Hmm.
good point.
I always like King Kong the best.
Yeah, did you see that that not the latest like Hollywood King Kong, but the King Kong was it -1 or whatever
No,
the
that's
Jap
Godzilla
that
-1.
yeah, Godzilla minus
Yeah, I
one. Did you
saw
see
it.
that?
Yeah, it was good.
I hear
Did you?
nothing but good things about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say I won't ruin it, but yeah, they bring a lot more of that devastation up close and personal a little bit in it,
It's
which
worth a
is pretty
watch.
cool. Yes, it's worth a watch. So,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to pass because I don't understand the culture of the movies.
Watch it.
And it would be an uneducated answer for answers for everything.
You can go
Where
in cold and watch it
whereas most of the answers are not.
Okay.
for
I got
everything.
one last I got one last thing. It's not really a part of the five questions for each of you. It's kind of a fun game. So here's what we're gonna do. One person gets to choose a superpower. The other two people each get to pick a minor but irritating side effect and say what it is. Does that make sense? So
So
like if you
I
said I could turn invisible, and I could be like, well, every time you turn invisible, you let a raucous, loud, stinky fart. and Josh can make up a side effect, you know.
Okay.
So all right. So who wants to go first and pick a superpower?
I'll go first. Josh went first with
Okay,
the questions.
sure.
Okay.
All right. I say my superpower out loud.
Yeah,
Yes.
Teleportation.
teleportation, but you have a very runny nose.
Teleportation, but every time when you reappear, you have a severe case of the runs.
Oh no. And a runny
No,
nose.
Exactly.
I'm losing liquid on both ends.
So every time you teleport, you need a couple of nose plugs and a
Yeah.
diaper.
That sounds like a terrible superhero.
I would have made a funky smell, but then you just be Nightcrawler.
Just
So
teleport away. Yeah, because he does have
yeah,
a smell when he teleports.
yeah, the simple, not
Sulfur.
sulfur. Yeah,
Cool. Okay, superpower. I'm gonna go with shape shifting.
Every time you
shape shifting.
shift into
Yeah,
something, you get an erection out of your forehead after the
Oh no,
shapeshift is done.
that'd be bad.
shape shifting. But every time you shape shift for the next 24 hours, whatever you shape shifted into has like the most horrible, like ass garlic smelling breath that you've ever wanted to smell. But it's just for 24 hours and then it goes
Just
away.
hide.
And the boner goes away when you're not excited. It's just raging right when you shapeshift, and then after that, it just hangs over your face, just like limp.
What if you were like
Ah!
stuck in that form for a certain amount of time? That would suck. Like every time you shapeshift, okay, you're that for 48 hours.
Yeah.
I used to always joke that you know who the most popular superheroes were at the superhero orgy?
Hmm.
The Wonder Twins, because they could turn into anything you wanted them to be.
Well, one would have to be in the shape of water, though. That was like one of the stupid things about them. The guy could only turn into some sort of water. So water vapor or an ice bucket, something made out of
Water-based
ice.
A block of
water-based
ice.
water-based lube.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay, we're gonna fuck your sister with you as the lube.
No.
Oh God, that's horrible. Okay, so I gotta have a superhero. I would like to have the power of being able to go back in time 1 hour.
The
1 hour.
second you travel back in time, you have to punch the first woman in the face you see. That's what happens.
Who said I wouldn't want to do that anyway?
Well, fair enough. It makes sense. Maybe that's why you chose that power.
Maybe.
You travel back that 1 hour, but when you do, your penis disappears and it doesn't come back until the hour is up. It's just a flat spot.
That's all right.
The time
Um,
traveling
you turn into a real
dickless
life Ken doll.
abuser.
The time traveling eunuch.
Yeah, I'm mainly planning on using it for financial advantage, like knowing something's going to happen and making bets or something like that. So,
Oh yeah, that would
yeah.
work. An hour is not
Or
that useful though.
Well, it is for
also,
Super Bowl
Well,
and
I
stuff.
guess so. For like
Boxing,
instant, yeah.
yeah,
like
stuff like that.
You'd be money man. Money man.
you would have enough money to retire after like 3 or 4 events,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You wouldn't have to do it too
Or,
much
yeah.
But you would. You'd keep going.
because you like beating women.
Because you like
That
swimming in a money bin full of money.
I would just go back in time and so I could take a strap on that would fit smooth against my kin spot and then just like bang girls with the strap on.
you know you don't need to travel back in time to have sex with girls, Charlie Ray, right?
Yeah,
You
if you
know
don't
that,
go back, you'll be fine.
and you'll have a
Well,
penis,
you know, I figure it's
Swiss
this way.
Army penis.
You meet the girl, you have sex, you disappoint her, then you travel slightly back in time, and then she never gets disappointed.
She'd be like, that feels different this time.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This
girls
time I stuck my finger in your ass.
girls can feel something other than disappointment during sex?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, maybe.
thankfully, yes, thankfully, girls didn't have to have orgasms to be able to get pregnant. Because
Wait,
Lord, if they did,
girls can have orgasms? Wow.
We've only been
wow.
recording for 7 minutes.
What?
I've learned so much in those 7 minutes. I've
What's
learned
that
that
move you're doing? It's called buffering. You learned so much, Clay, Mr. Clay. All right. That was
What
that was my that was just my fun game. I thought it would be fun to try it. So,
a good way to cap off the three-part
True.
series
yeah.
of getting to
Yeah.
know the hosts.
Do you think people learned anything of substance from the hosts, or do you think they were just
Hmm.
entertained for a couple hours?
If they
Either
got
way,
this far, they learned something.
Well, I don't know. Your questions to me, I got pretty in depth because they were rather more probing uh, questions about some of my psychological decisions.
that's right.
So mine were not quite as in depth as that.
Do you not feel a kinship with people when you hear them talk about things that you can relate to them on?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
So when you're
That's
answering
that's
things like that, someone is listening and they're like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, that makes sense. I too am in that boat. Thank you, Charlie Ray. You've opened my eyes.
yes. No, you're welcome.
We can hope that that was the outcome.
That's right.
So yeah, I guess this one is all wrapped up for the
It's a
wonderful
wrap.
know-it-alls.
Sounds good.
Thanks
Yeah,
for joining us on our three-part journey.
yeah. Enjoy.
Yes, it's a three for
It's a threefer.
It's a three. Peace.
peace.
If you could dock with any one famous person, who would it be? So, just for argument's sake, every male on Earth, alive or dead, has foreskin.
For the sake of this argument.
Yeah, so it would be like a double dock. So you'd both have to pull your sleeve back, right? You would have to go tip to tip. They would slide their foreskin over your exposed wiener head, and then you would slide your foreskin over top of their foreskin, almost like a Chinese finger trap.
Sounds delightful.
So any famous dude, or I mean, I guess you could pick a famous girl, but say she's got a wiener, but let's go with dudes.
I don't really want to dock with any dude, but I suppose if I could get Clint Eastwood in his prime, I want him to look me in the eye with his squint as we're doing it
Oh,
and say,
wow.
"Make my day."
Dog with me.
I think Charlie Ray's actually thought about this on his own.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick answer. He's like, well,
He-
I've been thinking about this for a long time.
He's like, I've been waiting for years for you to ask me that question. Finally, I get to express how I feel
Ever
about.
since Escape from Alcatraz, I've dreamt of this moment.
What if I said it was Mr. Clay?
I'm not famous.
We wouldn't be surprised, but
Well, yes, you
well,
are.
you're
Uh,
famous to some.
yes, with fame, there should be some sort of money. How do I get that?
Good
Well, if we
question.
filmed ourselves docking, we might make a lot of money.
Fair enough.
That's it. You guys get an OnlyFans,
Yeah.
and it's like docking 24/7, and you guys like do stuff while you dock. Maybe one of you is cooking on the stove. It'll be like stuck on you.
The only problem is neither one of us has foreskin. So is this at the argument's sake where we all have it, or is this like real life where we're famous and we have
We could just
foreskin?
like have like a dong fight because we can't really dock, so it'd have to be like a sword fight. It's like, might have to get really close because we're both not packing 5,000 yards a dong. So
It's true. Like you're gonna have to get really, really
Yeah,
close.
you'll be
Like
very close
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
it might even look like vag rubbing on vag. That's how close we'd have to get.
It
You
might
guys will be
even look like
scissoring.
episode. Yeah, I was gonna say it might look like episode 3 of The Acolyte, but we could only one or whatever the hell they were singing.
It
From
was
one
beautiful.
comes many.
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Brad Pitt myself.
Ooh,
I
he's
almost said Brad
quite a
Pitt.
specimen.
Yes.
He's the one. He's the golden boy.
That not even Uncle Jesse?
I didn't think about that. That's a good
Uh-oh.
answer too. Maybe I'll switch it to my man Jesse Katsopoulos.
Or somehow find a triple doc. Be like, can I get Brad Pitt and Jesse Kinsopoulos?
Greek people don't get circumcised, do they?
Yeah, everybody on Earth has foreskin in this
Oh
scenario.
yeah, that's right.
Well, every
So
girl,
anyway,
every man, not every woman.
what about Hunter Schafer? At least she's got nice breasts as well to play with.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna pound a woman with a penis, Hunter Schafer's she's up there.
Wouldn't be the worst choice.
No, not at all.
How about Joey Lawrence in his prime?
Whoa.
Yeah,
Can I
whoa.
get it? Can he wear the plaid? He has to wear the plaid and the baggy jeans. I'm not going to do it any other way. I want him
Yeah.
from Blossom. If he's not looking and
Yes.
acting like he is on Blossom, I don't want it.
And his hair down in front of his face like a dummy.
I
There you
had
go.
something come up on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and it was Joey Lawrence like in a music video, and I totally forgot that he released an album. I used to watch Blossom, like it was like a
Oh
weekly
yeah.
routine, right? And I found it weird because all the comments were just like, "Oh my God, do you remember when this played after episode whatever?" So apparently NBC or whatever, I think it was on NBC, wasn't it?
I
You
think
No.
got
so.
me.
Anyway, they were showcasing and trying to sell the records, so they would play the music videos of Joey Lawrence doing his hip hop dances and singing after the
Oh
episodes of
God.
Blossom. And yeah, it left my mind back then and it came back and I was like, wow, life was fucking great in the 90s.
I forgot about all that. I forgot about Joey Lawrence completely.
I,
Wow. Joey
you,
would be upset to hear that.
I'm sorry, Charlie Ray, you meant to say, whoa, not wow.
Whoa. Wow. Whoa.
What about you, Clay? Who would you dock with?
Hmm. I think Chris Hemsworth is pretty fucking hot. So if it's just based off of like attractiveness, I wouldn't mind getting some Thor.
He's pretty tall, man. That'd be an awkward
Well, I mean,
docking situation. It's like 9 feet tall.
what if we dock on our sides? We lay on a bed and I sort of like lay farther up the bed than he does.
You'd need something, a little step ladder.
And our wieners go tip to tip. It's like an Eskimo kiss, but using our wieners.
Nice.
Just like it.